All right, so picture this, right? Monday morning, April 7th, 2025.
Yeah.
Visakhapatnam, India.
Right.
And for a lot of people, it's, just another Monday, but for a certain group, it's a huge, huge day.
Right.
These are students taking the JEE Main exam.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And this is like the gateway
Yeah.
to the National Institutes of Technology, the NITs.
Okay, so like the best of the best.
Yeah, it's a really, really big deal for these students. I mean, you can imagine, right?
Absolutely.
Years and years of just, poring over books and
For stress.
yeah, tons of stress, all building up to this moment.
Yeah.
This is their future we're talking about here.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But for some of these students, things didn't exactly go according to plan that morning.
Okay. What do you?
So they're on their way to the exam center, probably feeling all that nervous energy and anticipation.
Right.
And they hit a massive traffic jam.
Oh no! On exam day.
On exam day. And not just any traffic jam. This one was caused by a VIP convoy.
Oh wow.
Okay. And we're not talking about just any VIP here. This was for the Deputy Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Pawan Kalyan.
Okay. Now that's a name I recognize. He's pretty well known, right? Wasn't he an actor or something before politics?
You got it. Founder of the Janasena Party and a former actor. So his convoy was a pretty big deal.
I bet.
Yeah. So you have these students already stressed to the max, now stuck in traffic because of, a politician's motorcade.
Yeah, I can see how that would throw a wrench in the whole plan.
Absolutely.
So where exactly was all this happening?
This was all going down at the Ion Digital Zone in Chinamisarvada, Pendorthi. That's the exam center. And for an exam like the JEE Main, being on time is absolutely critical. They usually advise students to arrive by 7 a.m., even though the exam starts at 8:30.
Okay.
That extra time is there for a reason, to get settled, maybe calm the nerves a bit before the test begins.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, just find your seat and, getting your stuff organized.
Exactly. But that morning, that buffer zone was completely gone for a lot of students.
Right.
Their meticulously planned journey to the center collided with this VIP convoy. So today, we're going to dive into what exactly happened and why this matters to you, the listener.
All right, let's get into it.
You with me?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's set the scene.
Okay.
NAD Junction, around 7:50 a.m.
All right.
Now, at this time, students should be pretty close to the exam center, but boom, traffic comes to a standstill.
Really?
And guess why?
I'm guessing it has something to do with the Deputy Chief Minister.
You got it.
Yeah?
The Deputy Chief Minister's convoy was approaching, so they're clearing the roads.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine that?
I mean, yeah, I can see the frustration. Like you said, these kids are already under a ton of pressure.
Oh, absolutely. And we actually have a firsthand account of this chaos. A mother named B. Kalavathi. She was driving her son to the exam center, and she told the Press Trust of India that they were stuck in that traffic for 42 minutes.
42 minutes.
42 minutes.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, that's practically an eternity when you're on a tight schedule like that.
Totally. I mean, that's a huge chunk of time for last-minute review or just, mental preparation.
Right. I mean, you're already stressing about the exam, and then you get hit with this crazy delay.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about adding fuel to the fire.
Exactly. And to make matters worse, when they finally arrived at the center, Kalavathi said that nearly 30 students got there just minutes after the 8:30 deadline.
Oh.
They were denied entry.
Seriously.
Just for a
few minutes.
Yeah. And she described, parents pleading with the officials, explaining the traffic situation, but it was no use.
Man, that's heartbreaking.
It is.
I mean, you can just feel the desperation, right?
Absolutely. And we heard a similar story from another parent, Anil Kumar. His daughter got there at 8:32.
Oof, just 2 minutes late.
2 minutes late. He was saying, what if they had just given them a 5-minute grace period?
Yeah, I can understand that. In those situations, every second feels like an eternity.
It does.
He probably felt like his daughter's future was hanging in the balance.
Yeah.
Just because of a few minutes.
It's rough. He also mentioned feeling like the VIP convoy was prioritized over the students.
That's a tough pill to swallow.
Absolutely.
So what did the authorities have to say about all of this?
So the Visakhapatnam police, they issued a statement, and they have a different perspective on the timeline.
Okay, how so?
They said the Deputy CM's convoy actually passed the area at 8:41.
8:41.
Yeah, so 11 minutes
That's the
after the exam had already started.
Oh, so their point is that the convoy couldn't have been the reason for the students being late.
Exactly. And, they also said that there weren't any major traffic jams on the main roads leading to the center before 8:30. They specifically mention, the BRTS road and the service roads.
Interesting. So their argument is that even with the convoy, students should have been able to reach the center on time if they followed the recommended schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
They also said that the exam center has an accessible service road, so there were alternate routes available. And get this, they even highlighted that the number of absentees that day was unusually low.
Oh, wow. So they're basically suggesting that the traffic issue wasn't widespread and that most students managed to arrive on time.
Right. So here we have two completely different versions of what happened. The parents talking about a traffic nightmare caused by the convoy, and the police saying, hey, the convoy wasn't even there at the crucial time.
So it's a bit of a he said, she said situation.
Exactly. And it leaves us with a lot of questions.
Right. Like, who's telling the whole truth? Was the traffic really that bad? Did the convoy actually cause the delays? Or were there other factors at play?
It's a complicated situation, with no easy answers.
So while all this was going down near the exam center, where was Pawan Kalyan, the deputy chief minister?
So he was actually in Araku, way on the other side of town. He was there visiting tribal communities and launching road construction projects.
Road construction projects?
Yeah, which is, kind of ironic considering his own convoy was allegedly causing roadblocks elsewhere.
Oh, for sure. It's like one of those do as I say, not as I do kind of situations.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, here he is trying to improve infrastructure, but at the same time, his movements are creating obstacles for people.
It definitely raises some questions about the planning and coordination of these events.
It does. So who's to blame for these students missing their exam? Is it the Deputy CM's convoy? Is it the police for how they handled the traffic?
Yeah.
Or is it the exam center itself for being so strict with the rules, even in, what seemed like a pretty exceptional situation?
Yeah. It's tough to pinpoint exactly who's at fault. It could be a combination of factors.
It could be.
But if the parents' account of being stuck in traffic at 7:50 a.m. is accurate, then that definitely suggests a direct link between the convoy preparations and the delays.
Right, because the police are saying the convoy didn't pass until 8:41.
Right.
But if the parents were already stuck well before that,
Yeah, that changes things.
it does. Then you have the exam center's side of things. I mean, obviously rules are important, especially for something as serious as this exam. But at the same time, these weren't students who just slept in or weren't organized.
Right, they were actively trying to get there. It's not like they just decided to skip it.
Yeah, they were literally stuck. It makes you think about, the need for some flexibility in situations like this.
Absolutely. I mean, where's the compassion? You've got these kids who have been working towards this exam for years, and then through no fault of their own, they get delayed because of a VIP convoy. It's just not right.
It isn't. We even saw a plea from one of the parents asking for a rescheduled exam for the affected students.
It makes sense. They were essentially robbed of their chance to take the exam due to circumstances beyond their control.
And they pointed out that this wasn't, your typical case of missing an exam. This was because of external factors that they had absolutely no control over.
A rescheduled exam seems like the fairest solution in this scenario. It gives those students a chance to prove themselves without being penalized for something that wasn't their fault.
Yeah. It's interesting how the police emphasized the low absentee rate that day, as if that somehow makes the whole situation okay.
It's like they're trying to downplay the problem by focusing on the overall statistics instead of acknowledging the very real struggles of those who are affected.
It's like saying, oh, it's fine. Most of the students made it. These 30 kids, who cares?
Yeah, it's a very impersonal way of looking at it.
It is. And then you have Pawan Kalyan off launching road projects while his own convoy is being blamed for causing traffic chaos.
Right, the irony is pretty thick there.
It is. This whole situation really highlights the bigger issue of VIP movement and its impact on everyday life.
It does make you wonder, how often does this kind of thing happen? And how many people are inconvenienced or worse, actually harmed by these disruptions?
Exactly. People have appointments, jobs, important commitments. What happens when all that gets thrown off track just because someone important needs to get somewhere?
It raises questions about priorities and whether the needs of the few are consistently outweighing the needs of the many.
Absolutely. And let's not forget, at the heart of this are these students and their aspirations.
Right.
We're not just talking about a missed exam. We're talking about potential setbacks in their education, maybe missing out on opportunities
Yeah.
to pursue their dreams.
It's a huge deal for them.
It is. And it's a reminder that logistical arrangements and protocols shouldn't come at the expense of individual opportunities.
I completely agree.
So, to sum up, we had this major entrance exam in Visakhapatnam. It was disrupted by traffic problems, likely caused by the Deputy Chief Minister's convoy.
Right.
A number of students were late and couldn't take the exam, which led to conflicting accounts from the parents and the police. And it all raises questions about accountability and the impact of VIP movement on the public.
And the need for some flexibility and understanding when unforeseen circumstances arise.
Absolutely. As we close this deep dive, I want you to think about the bigger picture here.
Okay.
This incident, it's a microcosm of how our society functions and the priorities that we set. Should we be more mindful of the potential disruptions caused by VIP movement,
Yeah.
especially when there are crucial public events happening?
Yeah.
And how can we ensure that opportunities for individuals like these students aren't compromised by, logistical things that are out of their control?
It's a complex issue, but it's definitely worth thinking about.
It is. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.